20-year-old Thang identified as the Kroger shooter, police confirming his identity without saying his name, just holding up the written words on a legal pad to avoid giving him any notoriety.
Some of you have asked me about was he an employee? He was a third-party vendor for Kroger.
Witnesses say Thang worked in the sushi department. Police haven't given a motive in the shooting, but Kroger employee LaWanda Clark recalls overhearing managers talking about firing Thang the night before.
They had to walk the guy out yesterday morning, and it was, I think, around about 9 o'clock. His boss came in, and they were talking to him about, what happened, and they had to walk him out, and he didn't really want to walk out. They said they were going to call the police, but I guess he left at that point.
He describes Thang as quiet, only conversing with the other sushi workers, and sometimes arguing with other co-workers.
I never said much to him because I think he was pretty off to himself. People have said he don't like people to speak to him.
Vivian Harris thinks she ran into Thang at another Kroger store in Whitehaven earlier in the day, talking to him as he was making a delivery to the sushi department there.
He didn't look too happy, but he didn't look like, he was angry. But he definitely perked up a little bit while I was talking about his sushi.
It was 2 hours before the Collierville Kroger shooting. After that tragedy, investigators were seen taking evidence from Thang's Collierville apartment. For Kroger employees, it's all too frightening, knowing a co-worker who had several run-ins with others was responsible for this tragedy.
This guy, he showed signs of something wasn't right. So we shouldn't take a blind eye to stuff like this.
April Thompson, WREG News Channel 3.
Okay, so y'all just heard that right there. And I actually found out about this in my live stream that I just did. And I think it was Jordan that told me about it. And he said, Torian, have you heard about this mass shooting that happened at a Tennessee Kroger? I said, no. So right there in my live stream, I typed it in and this is what came up. Now, this is like the clearest image that they have of this guy. Like all the images that they have of him are like this blurry, but you can look at him and tell that this guy is definitely Asian. And they said his name in the in audio that you heard. His name is Thang, spelled Uktthang. And this guy shot, now has been reported up to about 15 victims. I don't know if any of them have been deceased, but 15 people did get shot by this man. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this article that's coming from WREG to elaborate more on the audio that y'all just heard. This is the alleged shooter at the Collier Kroger has been identified as 29-year-old Thang. The number of victims shot in the Collier Kroger shooting is now up to 15, Police Chief Dale Lane said Friday. They are stable, Lane said. Thursday night, police executed a search warrant at 885 Federal Ridge Road in Collierville, which Lane said was the suspect's residence. Evidence taken from the residence is being processed and one person was questioned. Lane said the identity of the suspect shooter is known and will be revealed soon, but that person would not be named in the Friday morning press conference. He was a third-party vendor working at the Kroger. Lane said the shooter took his own life as law enforcement was pulling up to the scene. There is one confirmed death in the shooting. Police confirmed her name was Olivia King. She is one of the 15 victims. 10 of the victims were employees of Kroger and 5 were customers. My heart's broken for the victims here, he said. Lane also confirmed that a vehicle searched in a Kroger parking lot believed to belong to the shooter had tags from Davidson County, Tennessee. Lane would not comment on any possible Nashville area connection. Collierville Fire Department Chief Buddy Billings said the department had purchased ballistics gear 3 years ago and began training for a situation like this. He credited that training and equipment with saving lives. People will reflect back and say, where were you when the Kroger shooting happened, Collierville Mayor Stan Joyner said. Kroger released a new statement on the incident Friday saying they are continuing to pay employees while the store remains closed. Wow, that's crazy. If I have any subscribers that live out there in Tennessee, can y'all please let me know what the atmosphere is like out there concerning this story right here? I find it very hard to believe that they did not talk about this at all because it was indeed a mass shooting. Now, this changes quite a bit right here because it's been a while since we've seen an Asian person be the face of a mass shooting. The last time I think I saw an Asian person do a mass shooting was back in 2007 at VTech. If y'all don't remember, back in 2007 in Virginia Tech, there was a student who went there. He was Asian, who, before he did what he did, he took pictures of himself holding the guns looking like Lara Croft on Tomb Raider, because that's what everybody compared him to. And then all of a sudden he just went from classroom to classroom and just was shooting all the classrooms up and the people inside of it. I can't remember how many people he killed, but he did kill some people. Like, he literally was going from class to class. Pop, 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 boom. Left one class, went to another class. Pop, 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 boom. Left that class, went to another class, and did the same thing. Until they finally got on campus and they shot and they killed him. Now, like, I'll never forget that. That stayed in the news for a couple of weeks. And rightfully so, because it was a very big deal at the time. And now you have this guy right here. Now, you heard in the audio, like, one of the employees said that he just seemed like he was off to himself. He seemed like an off individual. He didn't really talk to nobody. He didn't really like a lot of people around him. So he seemed like one of them loner type of people. And like, just whatever the case may be. And when they mentioned something about his job being affected, like him, being about to be fired, I said, yep, that's what set him off. That's probably what ended up setting him off, was finding out that he was about to lose his job. And that's what did it. But like I said, like, you never know what the mental capacity is of a lot of people out here and what it is that is going through their minds in those particular moments. But them people that like to keep to themselves, I let them stay right where they at, because I'm not even going to question if they are crazy or if something is psychologically wrong with them. You just kind of know what it is and you just kind of leave them to themselves. But at the same time, it's kind of scary because you never know when that ticking time bomb is going to finally explode. And this is the moment right here when it exploded and it went off. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. And I'm curious, is the Asian American community going to say anything about this?